My name is Dina Sislo, and I did the role and intake of zinc. So the role of zinc in the body, it can help with DNA and gene expression. So it's going to act as an inhibitor to receptors or an enhancer to inhibiting proteins. This is just going to determine whether a gene is going to be expressed or not. It can also play a role in immunity. Zinc binds to lymphocytes, which are white blood cells, and are just a key ingredient into our immune function. And so if one is deficient in zinc, then they are most likely going to have an increased risk of infection. So we want to make sure we have enough zinc so that we decrease that risk of infection. They also have antioxidant properties. So they break down free radicals in the body and decrease the cell damage that free radicals cause. They're in a group called the superoxide dismutases, which stop free radicals from multiplying in the body, so we really need zinc. Nutritional sources of zinc are mostly proteins, red meat, seafood, eggs, but mostly red meat. The proteins help increase bioavailability in the body, so it's going to increase your absorption. And then in plant-based foods, it's mostly going to be legumes and potatoes, so starches, because starches bind really easily to metals, and zinc is a metal. So that can also increase bioavailability, but not as well as eating protein. RDI current intake. So women should take about 12 milligrams, men should take about 15 milligrams. Women just have lower energy needs than men, and so they are going to have a lower amount of zinc that they should be taking. And then infants are about 2 milligrams, and then teenagers, like 15 years of age, should take about 11 milligrams. So obviously as time goes on and your body is growing, you're going to need more zinc. And current intake, women take about 81% or less of what they should be taking. This is probably because women just fail to fuel themselves as well as they should. And yeah, we're just not very good at fueling ourselves. And then men typically take about 90% or more of their daily intake, because men typically have higher protein diets, and so they're just getting that zinc, and it's just so much more bioavailable. And then children take about 76% to 91% of their daily intake, and this can just depend on their household and their economic status. Deficiency and toxicity. Deficiency can cause gastrointestinal issues, so nausea, vomiting, cramping. It can also decrease neurological function, like hallucinations, especially if the zinc is inhaled. This is just caused by neurotoxicity and cell death in the body. Whoops. And then immune function. Having too much zinc in the body just doesn't allow the lymphocytes and the zinc to bind properly, and so it's just going to decrease your immune system. And then toxicity, it can stop the production of reproductive hormones and just inhibit and damage cranial nerves. But the biggest one is going to be skin issues. So this is going to be a lot of lesions all over the body, inflammation in the skin, as well as alopecia, so your hair is going to start falling out. And then morbidity and mortality, 17% of the overall population is affected by a zinc toxicity or deficiency. Women are at higher risk of deficiency because they just fail to fuel themselves as well, or just already at risk of it in general. But if they're pregnant or lactating, then they're going to need more zinc, and so that's just like furthering the range of zinc that they're supposed to have, and so that is just going to increase our risk of deficiency. And then vegetarians are at risk because they just don't eat the proteins that are super bioavailable. So yeah, and then supplements and fumes are the main causes of zinc toxicity. So people working in factories can really just be affected by zinc toxicity, and these can cause a lot of neurological problems, like Alzheimer's, cancer, and Parkinson's. So, yeah.